Picture this. It's Sunday night. That familiar, quiet pressure begins to tighten in your chest. You haven't even started your week, yet you are already exhausted. You tell yourself it's just the hustle, a sign of responsibility. You look at your title, your benefits, and the protection your company offers, the insurance, the steady deposit, the feeling of being part of a work family. But here's the inversion most men never catch. Every benefit they give you is a new handle they use to steer you. They told you that loyalty was a two-way street. They said if you showed up, stayed late, and played by the rules, the machine would take care of you. But notice how the protection they provide only lasts as long as your utility remains high. The moment your output drops, the family disappears, leaving you staring at a mirror, wondering whose life you've actually been living. You aren't working for freedom, you are working for preservation. You have become a loyal technician in a rigged machine, one that breaks you just enough to sell you a repair kit every month. If you've started noticing the patterns others ignore, you're in the right place. Silent Rules is where we name the things society prefers to keep hidden. If you are tired of chasing a status you don't even want, this is where we dismantle the illusions that keep you stuck. Subscribe if you're ready to author your own script. Every system needs obedience to survive, so it rewards loyalty and calls it virtue. From the classroom to the boardroom, you are trained to equate gratitude with safety. Work hard, stay loyal, and the system will protect you. It sounds moral, it feels comforting, until you realize that protection is just another word for control. Think about your current position. If someone removed 30% of your energy tomorrow, would your life still function? If the answer is no, you are not in control. Your schedule owns you. The corporate world doesn't want awakened men. It wants busy ones who mistake motion for meaning and loyalty for love. They give you titles to defend and reputations to maintain, because a man with a large public identity is a man who is expensive to maintain. You become careful, you become strategic, you censor your own instincts because you fear losing the protection of the hand that feeds you. You think you are climbing a ladder, but the ladder is leaning against a wall you didn't choose. 500 years ago, Niccolò Machiavelli saw this blueprint clearly. He understood that a man who owes his fortune to another must remain dependent on that favor. In the corporate world, this is the income trap. When you rely on one source for your survival, that source begins to write your story. You tailor your opinions, soften your edges, and polish your image, not because you want to, but because you fear losing your buyer. This leads to what Carl Jung called the persona. The persona is the mask you wear to be accepted. In the workplace, that mask becomes your uniform. You smile when you're not okay. You agree when you secretly disagree. You present a polished, filtered version of yourself optimized for performance, not authenticity. But Jung warned that when the mask grows thicker than the face behind it, ego fragmentation begins. You appear competent and calm, but inside you are quietly falling apart because you've lost touch with the person you were meant to become. The machine rewards the persona. It praises you for being on track and responsible. But as Jung famously said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. The system doesn't want your full self. It wants the predictable, compliant, and replaceable version. Most men lack discipline because they lack leverage. They say yes to every meaningless meeting and every toxic obligation because they cannot afford to say no. Real freedom isn't an emotional state. It's a structural advantage. It is determined by what you need and what you fear losing. A man who needs many things is easy to pressure. A man who understands the silent rules knows that needing less is the ultimate leverage. You must move from being a worker to being a builder. A worker trades hours for dollars. A builder creates artifacts that work even when he isn't. Ask yourself these uncomfortable questions. If your job disappeared tomorrow, what part of you would remain? Are you using your time to construct a life, or are you using your time to avoid one? Whose script are you reciting in your head? The system doesn't fear your anger. It fears your clarity. It fears the man who stops looking for permission to breathe and starts treating his hours as property. To exit the trap of corporate loyalty, you don't need a revolution. You need architecture. First, build a runway. Freedom is math. Calculate your exit months. How many months could you live if your income stopped today? Each month of runway is a month you buy your silence back from fear. Second, protect the 90. Create a 90-minute block every day that is non-negotiable. No phone, no meetings, no messages. Use this time for no permission work, building something they cannot fire you from. Third, perform a social audit. Cut access, not people. Stop over-explaining your choices. When you justify your decisions, you are begging for approval. A short statement ends pressure. A long explanation feeds it. The world will always try to shape you, but now you see the hands. The script was written without you, but the ending is yours to choose. If this made you see the bars of your own cage, don't just scroll past. Step out. If you are ready to stop performing and start writing your own rules, leave one word below. Sovereignty. Stay. Reclaim your center. This is silence.